Hello everybody and welcome back. So now we're going to start looking at the propagation effects or the crack propagation effects, and I wanted to discuss how it started and how I ended up doing the version that is in the promo. And I have one shot here which I realized I didn't use in the promo, so I wanted to show it to you guys. It shows the crack, magical effects, and pretty much everything else. I don't know why we didn't use it, honestly. And the rest is two variations of different cracks or crack ideas, magical effects ideas that I was trying. So, and this is the final version. Okay, so this is the latest one that was used in the sim. And what I was trying to achieve from this is to add something interesting to the impact point. Rather than just being it rocks, I wanted to add something that adds more movement or accentuate that. And before I got to this state, I started with this concept. So that idea that I started with was once something separates or cracks, it's going to be emitting a huge amount of sparks and fire, and it's going to feel like it's burning. And that was one of the idea I tried. I didn't like it because it's very present in the scene, and it's gonna force me to do certain things visually that I didn't want to. For example, it's gonna force me to tweak the lighting so that that visual only, or that visual specifically, is properly presented. It won't be easy to present all of that with the mixture of what's happening here. And it didn't feel right in terms of animation. It took too long for us to understand what's happening, and it doesn't sell well with the timing of that collapse and expansion. So I dropped that idea, but I kept trying it all the way up until the end. This is the final RBD sim, and I'm still exploring what can I do with the magical effects. And then at the end, so I started with using pretty much every crack in the scene that is available, any gap. But then I decided, okay, what if I make this some sort of magical force that starts at the center and then propagates like a lightning. And so with the lightning idea, it came the question for how am I going to create the structure. And so if we look closely here, even though it happens really fast, you will see that it starts off with a center and then starts growing, and then it's separating. So see, when it, for example, this area here, when it got to that point, it split. See here, it's one, and then it's split into two. And then it continuously separating. So then it does this, and then pretty much it's a propagation. So, and it's following the structure. And getting that movement showed up to be actually really, really challenging, and we're going to discuss why. The other question is, once I started implementing this, is will this magical effects affect the RBD? You know, will it change the pieces around those cracks? The correct answer, if we want to sell the visual, then we want to add some tilting or rotation or any deformation to where that energy went through, as if it's pushing everything. We also want to emit debris, actual debris from there, and so all of this has to happen. And then the other major problem is, how will this lightning be deforming? Because at that point the RBD is still moving, and we want this crack effects to also follow that. So the particle animation, whatever we have in terms of sourcing or particle stem, it has to match the movement of the RBD. And then if we're going to base this, for example, we do the RBD sim and then use that movement, those positions, to create this crack effects. If we're going to deform the RBD based on that, how we're going to pass it back, how we're going to apply that new deformation back into the scene. And for example, if we're going to, let's say, use this energy, this force here, this line, to deform the pieces, how will they react after that deformation happens to them? Will they be consistent with the previous sim, or will they have an offset? So all the there is a loop basically. If you're going to use the RBD sim to create something, and then that thing is going to affect the RBD sim back. So that loop needs to be solved, and we need to figure out the interconnectivity between all these things. Okay, so that's one portion. The other question is, how will this energy look like? What it is made of, and how is it going to behave? And actually, I don't have it here. I remember having another version very close up. If we look closer, we will see trails from this. So it's not just points. I have basically a sparks with a trail. Imagine welding metal, for example. When you weld the metal, you get these sparks with long trails behind them, so that it's doing that. And then we could use volume, for example. We could use geometry. We could use points. We could use anything really to represent that. So I needed to explore how is it going to look like. And in the next video, I'm going to show a bit more details about this, the rendering of this, and how I got this look. And then we're gonna go back and start the problem from the beginning with creating the cracking and how everything worked. Thank you guys for watching, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.